Last week, the Associated Press reported that Black Lives Matter raised $90 million last year. They gave $21.7 million to BLM chapters and maintain a balance of over $60 million. Those numbers came directly from the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. BLM has been tied to Soros-funded and other leftist organizations. The vast majority of its money does not go to black causes at all. Let's welcome back producer and director Robbie Starbuck. Robbie is also a congressional candidate for Tennessee's 5th District. And welcome back Stacy Washington, host of Stacy on the Right on Sirius XM. She's also the co-chair of Project 21 and executive director of USA Strong, Erin Elmore. All right, Robbie, does Michael Brown's father have a bit of a point here? This is a point that I think a lot of people, particularly center-right folks, have been making for the last 8 months, that Black Lives Matter, that money doesn't actually go to help black lives or go into the inner city to help anybody. It goes into leftist political causes. Your thoughts?
You know, you look at the amount of money that they brought in, they have done nothing for black communities at all. You could look on the right and find many examples of people like, say, Scott Pressler, who have gone out into black communities, predominantly black and Hispanic communities, and have done so much for them and have been given no donation. So they have no excuse for the fact that they have done absolutely nothing for these communities. And there should be a protest right now. The protest should be outside of their offices, and it should be filled with everybody who gave them money, asking where is the money and how much were you all paid? Because we deserve to know how much these people are paying themselves, how they're profiting off of this, because they certainly are not helping black and brown people.
Stacy, I've got to go to you with this. Look, this smacks of outright fraud, because you have corporations and individuals who believed that Black Lives Matter. They were led to believe, either by the media or by the organization themselves, that they were a traditional sort of community nonprofit, when the fact of the matter is that they're raising money for Democrat politicians and sort of leftist political activism.
Well, you said it. The money is going to political causes. It's not going to the community. I can think of, I live in St. Louis at the suburbs, and I live about 25 minutes from Ferguson. And one of the organizations that's actually doing the work on the ground there is M1 Bank, a privately owned bank. The couple that owns it has poured, I don't even know how much money, hundreds of thousands of dollars into Ferguson, into remodeling it, bringing it back up to speed, and programs that help the children there. So that's the kind of work that people expect Black Lives Matter to do, and they're not doing it. And I don't agree with him often, but I think he's right here. The father of Michael Brown, he's asking, where's the money to help people? And they should be doing that if they're going to raise that kind of money.
Yeah, but there is outright, I personally think that there's outright fraud here. President Biden, moving on, attended the House Democratic Caucus 2021 Issues Conference, and during it, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, they gathered together, they discussed their agenda for the next 2 years. But here's Pelosi discussing an interaction that she had with her grandkids that's getting a lot of attention on social media. Take a listen.
In order to open these doors, we do not say open sesame. We say open Biden. That's our magic word. Open Biden. I love it.
For the full transcript, you can find it on Nancy Pelosi's website. We went and found it there because we were in disbelief, but this is real. Erin, did she what was this? This was really weird. She almost looked like she was kind of on something. Your thoughts?
She does not seem that she was cogent or competent to even be talking on camera at that moment. What is she talking about? Where is the direction that she's going here? I'm assuming she's speaking about the school issue, and we already know that Biden is basically complicit with the teachers' unions here. These teachers' unions are holding our children hostage, and all this is doing is hurting kids, generally speaking, that can't afford to go to private school. So it's creating a bigger chasm between the haves and the have-nots. A lot of these inner city children, by the way, get 2 of their 3 meals for the day within the schools. They have been out of school for over a year. So what Nancy Pelosi meant by this comment is very hard to ascertain, but what she should be saying, what President Biden should be saying is, teachers unions, Quit using our children as political pawns and open these schools right now. A year is long enough. These teachers are fine to go back to school. Look at our frontline medical workers. Look at our truck drivers. Look at our grocery store clerks. They have been working diligently and safely for a year. Let's get our teachers back to work and let's get our children learning.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not about the kids. It seems to be about the adults. But her demeanor there was just, it was very, very odd. And it's not the first time that we have seen her act in sort of a bizarre fashion. Moving on, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, he's been out of the news for a couple of weeks, so he needed another publicity stunt. He is suing former President Trump, his son Donald Trump Jr. and Rudy Giuliani and Congressman Mo Brooks. He's claiming that they all played roles in the events leading up to and surrounding the Capitol riot, and he claims in his suit that Trump directly incited the violence at the Capitol that followed and then watched approvingly as the building was overrun. Goes on to refer to the former president, president's January 6th speech as the bullhorn that incited the violence. He's claiming emotional distress, severe emotional distress. Look, Robbie, this guy could be one of your colleagues in the House. He's suing President Trump in what's a publicity stunt. Your thoughts on this?
My thought is we all deserve damages for the emotional distress of having to listen to Eric Swalwell's whining for the last 4 years. This is so childish, it's ridiculous. I mean, I didn't think anything would be more comical than the Nancy Pelosi clip, but a member of Congress suing because his feelings are hurt it may rise, really might. It's just honestly.
Well, hold on.
You've got walls around the city. You've got walls around Capitol Hill, and you've got now snowflake congressmen who are going to run to the courts. This is how his peer, Democrat Senator Amy Klobuchar, described the riot.
There is clear agreement that this was a planned insurrection. So, and I think most members here very firmly agree with that. And I think it's important for the public to know that this was planned. We now know that.
So, Stacy, Klobuchar said it was planned after listening to the Capitol hearing on the issue. Your thoughts on this continual obsession on the part of Democrats to beat up Trump and blame him and Republicans for the riot?
It was planned. It was planned on Facebook and YouTube, and they've not been canceled. So listen, Klobuchar and Swalwell are exhibiting weapons-grade TDS. They're still suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, only now it's worse because President Trump isn't on Twitter and he's not out there for them to constantly focus on. And that's all this lawsuit is. That's all her comments are. It's not about the six. It's not about any of that. And I find it pretty funny. They're entertaining me a great deal with this obsession with former President Trump.
All right. Thank you, Stacy, Robbie, and Aaron. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Coming up, the San Diego Zoo has vaccinated its apes against COVID-19. We discuss why next.